Hello everybody, welcome back to Noita Every Day. So, I have been playing a lot of hardcore Minecraft recently, and by a lot of hardcore Minecraft, I mean I've been playing in the world that is currently hardcore, that I talked about a bit. So, obviously, I have discovered that hardcore has no added difficulties other than permadeath, which is bothering to me. So what I've done is just restricted the world for myself. I've limited golden apples, can't use totems of undying, all the generic stuff. Obviously, I don't feel like removing netherite armor because all it really does is reduce knockback. I guess it gives extra protection, but you can still die pretty easily, especially considering elytra are very often utilized. Anyhow, yeah. As soon as I die in that world, I'm switching it to survival and turning off the restrictions because, I don't know. Feels like that would be a more effective way to make the world last longer because of how garbage I am at the game. Obviously, playing hardcore with the normal requirements is much more impressive because death is super frickin' hard to permanently avoid. It just feels like it'll be more fun that way. I don't know, maybe I'll like delete all the items I got or something, but not the world itself. Because it is a really good seed. It spawns right by a mangrove biome, jungle, cherry blossom biome. It's very, very good. Who knows, maybe I'll delete the world after. Probably not, because it's just freaking really, really cool and I like it. But, I might show it off at some point. Anyway, on the topic of Minecraft, I have been thinking a lot about the lore and timeline of the game, because yes, there is obviously a Minecraft timeline, since we have Ancient Ruins, and we have the two other installments in the Minecraft series, which is not a term I thought I would be saying ever, until now, I guess. But the main reason I bring this up is because I think there is a fairly precise order to the way that the games occur. We know for a fact that Legends has to happen first. This is because, well, a lot of the stuff that happens in Legends doesn't have any of the previously established, structures. There's none of them there. At least, to my knowledge, you don't have any neat old structures. It's just the piglins who start cropping up and the stuff that you build. And I guess the villagers, but those were there before you. Or I guess they were there before you. In any case, Legends has to happen first, also because of the relic music disc that appears in Minecraft itself, as it has a few parts of the Legends soundtracks in it, which, you know, makes me think, maybe the soundtrack was recorded by the people in the, I don't know, the lore? What do you even call the group? I know Matt, the Theory Man himself, has theorized they're called the Ancients, or that's just what he refers to, the ancient civilization. I'm guessing that they were, for the most part, just the same thing as, Steve. Because, obviously, the player character in Dungeons and Legends appear to be that. What I am wondering is when Dungeons occurs. Because originally I thought it was between Minecraft and Legends, but it seems like there's a lot of evidence pointing it to actually coming after regular Minecraft. That being the pillagers having much more developed infrastructure. But then the end itself in normal Minecraft doesn't have as developed stuff. It's got less biomes, basically. It's not as cool and unique. So I'm wondering if people have other theories as to why that is the case. I want to look into it more, because it is something that is very interesting to me. I like lore, it's cool. And also because if I can figure that out, then I can figure out a lot more about Minecraft's actual lore, since it'll help determine the origins of a lot of things, and why the end itself is kind of an area there. Obviously, Legends has to be first, because you don't even hear anything about strongholds. I'm not sure if Endermen exist in Legends. That's something that's worth looking up, because if they do, then that would prove that the humans are definitely not the same thing as Endermen. Obviously, there's a couple of other things that I think point toward that. Just because end cities themselves look to be built for Endermen, because they have staircases that require you to be 3 blocks tall to easily walk up, because Endermen are capable of stepping up a full block just by walking into it. They've got, obviously, 3-block tall room entries, I guess, doorways, because they don't have any actual doors in the end. Also, it's one of the only biomes with end rods. It's the only place with end rods in the entire game. And end rods are made out of blaze rods and chorus fruit combined. You put them together, you get an end rod. Is that the only way to get them? In like lore-wise, is that the only way that you think you could get them? Because if so, the ancients could have brought blaze rods into the end and used those there. Or alternatively, the Endermen themselves could have teleported into the Nether while blazes existed and taken those and used them. Now, it seems like a lot of evidence points toward a war that happened through the Nether because of Nether fortresses, which don't contain piglins, but rather wither skeletons who seemingly defend the place, along with blazes who also seemingly defend the place. What I'm wondering is why they're aggressive toward piglins specifically. Because obviously, well, not obviously, but we know that the human species, the ancient group, the thing that Steve was a part of, that group was fighting the piglins, at least at the beginning of the series, because of legends when they had to fight them off in order to save the world before the goofy god guys came back or whatever. Now, obviously, the gods leave at the end of Legends, so maybe that would explain a lot of the structures. It would also explain dungeons occurring. Ooh, best spell in the game. Because we see a lot more advanced technology in dungeons. By technology, I mean stuff like the soul, not the technology itself, but the soul magic utilized. Because one of the major tools you get throughout dungeons is soul-based weaponry, like the funny lantern that gives you an AoE attack, or there's a laser beam one that consumes soul power. There's a bunch of stuff that relates to it. As well as, I believe, summons require soul, if I haven't forgotten. If not, then oopsie doopsie. In any case, I don't think all summons do. It might just be like the specifically soul attributed ones, because there's probably a couple with that. Yeah, that's about it for the theories there. I feel like Dungeons has to come before base Minecraft because of, well, lots of things, but mostly in base Minecraft you never see a lot of the biomes that are in dungeons. And the only possible explanation for that would be that somehow they were developed after Minecraft, or they decayed somehow before it. I don't think decay is likely, just because some of those biomes have really, really specific, I guess, designs to them. Plus the actual structures themselves, like the end cities, are very unique and different and varied. So it could be that there's like a particular end city that they're going to add in or something. Obviously, the end itself needs an update for Minecraft, which would reveal, or at least hopefully would reveal, whether Minecraft or Dungeons came first. But we can see that as of now, it's likely that Minecraft itself comes after Dungeons. You've heard the reasoning behind it, which decaying, of course. It could be Endermen, regular Endermen, who destroy it over time. Also, the heavy lack of unique and varied mobs in the end during regular Minecraft also further alludes to that being the case. There's a decent amount of evidence for it, but it's not enough to say be perfect. So I would like some assistance in les comments in figuring out exactly what this means, because, you know, a timeline would be interesting to have fully thought out and written down. It would also help a lot with figuring out the overall story and lore of Minecraft. Matthew Patthew himself believes that the ancients were either a bunch of separate groups or one full group. I believe the most recent theory was just, yep, they're one big group working, or not one big group, a bunch of little groups working separately. Or they were until something wipes them out, which was assumedly the Wither, but there isn't very much evidence of the Wither existing. We do see strongholds in base Minecraft and dungeons, so it could be that that dungeons occurs after base Minecraft, because strongholds exist in both, and the overworld would be completely annihilated in Minecraft. A lot of the structure would be removed, but in dungeons it would have been repaired somewhat, and there would be more structures built. Or it could mean that the Withers have not yet destroyed the entire world. Because, well, more than one Wither exists, or can exist at any given time. We know that in order to create a Wither, you need skulls, Wither skulls to be precise. Another theory that I think might be plausible is that Steve is not a part of the group of people who existed before and created the strongholds and all of the other cool structures other than the Illager ones. And the reason I say this is because of Endermen, who most assuredly are very, very odd in how, like, they're sized and shaped and everything. They're tall, like, almost 3 blocks. Or, actually, I think it is exactly 3 blocks. But a similar mob to that would be the Wither skeletons themselves, who are withered variations of some form of skeleton. We never see normal skeletons from them. And that would mean that they are the skeleton of something larger than the player, because the player can fit into 2 block gaps that the Withers can't themselves. The Wither skeletons, not the Withers. Withers are a different thing, blah blah blah. Who cares? Yes, that's right, this is going to be me rambling about Minecraft lore. If you couldn't tell from the previous statements. So, we can see that, obviously, the Withers are 3 blocks tall, or around that area. And since they're decayed skeletons, you would assume that they've lost some of their height. Because not only is it a skeleton, so it would be at least a little bit shorter, but it's also withered away, taken sustained damage. It's been heavily damaged, in fact. Because it's withered, it's destroyed and decayed, and it will be gone soon. Oh, frick you, big worm man. Anyway, we're going to keep going, because I still want to talk about this, and I've got time for it for once. That's right, the Contextarian is thinking for once. Wow, crazy. Anyhow. Since skeletons obviously aren't exactly the same size as the creature that was the skeleton, usually they've got, you know, more than just bones on them, it would make sense that the Enderman and... you call them frickin'... oh my gosh, I always forget the names of things. Right when I'm trying to talk about them, too. The Enderman and the Wither skeletons are the same species, or at least related somehow. Now, this would kind of be in relation to the theory that the ancients were a group of people who ate a bunch of fruits, which made them into Endermen. But then they would also have to have started that tall, meaning that they were completely separate from Steve and his group. Or alternatively, by reanimating the skeletons of the Withers, they somehow were modified inside of the Nether, which honestly isn't too unlikely considering Minecraft's already convoluted magic system. Which, yeah, I'm gonna talk about Minecraft's magic system now. You're not avoiding it unless you want to leave the video, in which case, yeah, you can avoid it pretty easily. Anyway, Minecraft's magic system is really, really interesting because all of the magic in the entire game uses soul as an energy source. Not a single type of magic does not relate to or utilize or straight up utilize soul. This can be seen in not only beacons, which utilize a nether star, which is dropped from a wither, which literally uses soul sand to create it, and requires 3 wither skulls, reanimated skeletons who have been heavily damaged and eventually destroyed by the player. So, naturally, it would be reasonable to guess that those are related, that soul powers the beacons, or at least a mixture of the soul and the valuable item that you put inside of it. It can also be seen in potions, which cannot be made without nether wart or blaze rods. Blaze rods come from blazes, which are animated fire soul things. A lot of potions, I'll talk about another thing soon, but it'll be potion related. Yep, that's right. Anyway, back to the potion thing. Every single potion in the entire game, with only one exception, utilize nether warts to create them. The only exception is, of course, the weakness potion, which, for some reason, doesn't require nether wart to make, which would mean that it's the only thing in the entire game that doesn't need souls to function as magic. And I don't think that it's for gameplay purposes, because if it were for gameplay purposes, it would make it easier to access weakness so you could cure villagers. They would just make it so that blaze powder and other stuff wouldn't be required for a functioning brewing stand. Because, again, for gameplay purposes, that would make it much easier to make said potions. It seems more likely that the fermented spider eyes are just magic. It's a... Oh, no, it is magic, because it is a spider's eye, and a spider is a living thing that once had a soul. Because Minecraft lore basically means everything has a soul, or has had a soul, if it was alive. So, I guess where that's probably where the soul-like energy comes from in that potion. From the eye of the spider, which probably has some kind of toxin in it, maybe. Who knows? Ooh. That would actually make sense, huh? Anyway, back to potion theory. Looking into that, we can see kind of a few different things. Now, the way that different potions are made, obviously, has some correlation to different things in the game, but something very, very, very important, I should say right now, is that gold seems to be related to health in Minecraft. If you think about this just very, very quickly on a surface level, you have golden and enchanted golden apples. Those are the most obvious two. They both grant you regeneration, with regular golden apples not even requiring enchantments or magic to function. Oh, right, enchantments. They don't seem to use soul power, except for maybe lapis lazuli, which might be soul-related. We aren't sure. MatPat thinks so. I think maybe. Anyway, getting away from that unrelated topic, gold seems to be related to health, or at least in some form is healthy for you, which might be the reason why the piglins collected it so much, because it could be utilized in certain potions, like regeneration potions, which, of course, require a... Wait, no, not regeneration potions, that's ghast tears, that's a soul. It's instant health potions that require glistening melon, which is made with gold. You know, pretty standard. It heals you instantaneously, uses gold to function. Without gold, it literally would not be able to exist, so, you know, gold healthy. Furthermore, golden carrots at first don't seem to be really like healing, but you use such a very small amount of gold, and combined with the fact that it gives the most saturation out of anything in the game other than, I guess, enchanted golden apples, technically, maybe? I'm not entirely sure on that one. but it gives some of the highest saturation of any normal food in the game, which probably relates to the fact that it's made of gold, with saturation sort of just being the fullness, and it automatically heals you very quickly because, well, you're very, very well fed by it. No, it heals you. Golden carrot, saturation, healing, correlated. Related? Probably, maybe. Again, correlation does not equal causation, so there's a chance that gold is not related to health, and it just so happened that they decided to make a few different things with gold in them as healing-related items. So you could take all of this with a grain of salt. Since I am not a professional theory crafter like the MatPat himself. But the collection of gold would be potential reason why the piglins aren't dead yet. Because they were nearly wiped out during the war that occurred in Legends. Or at least they took incredible hits with only the regular piglins and the brutes being left in the world. You don't see any other types of piglet in regular Minecraft, that is. You see hoglins, but those aren't piglins. They're just, well, hoglins. Some goofy goobers who don't follow the others' real rule. Yeah, we're not doing that. It's not fast enough. Take Hungy Friend, we do that. Yeah. Back on to the original topic I was speaking about. That's right, this is going to be like 20 minutes of me just constantly speaking on this theory because I've got nothing better to do, and I really, really think it would be it's interesting to talk about and think about. Please do disprove any of this if you have evidence for it, because I'd love to see other theories. I find them very, very fun. Even if they don't have too much precedence, they're always really cool to listen and look at. In any case, we are going to continue talking about the magically healthy properties of gold, because I feel like it. That is not the egg wand. I meant to do this. Eggs. 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 Heading back over to the magic theory of gold being healing, that there doesn't seem to be much else that evidences this. Obviously, potions and the resources used to make them kind of make sense, with golden carrots making night vision potions, adding some, maybe a little bit of relation to the theory, with the health of your eyes being suddenly, temporarily, massively improved, allowing you to see in the dark, or perhaps just modifying your eyes so you can see very well. It's magic. It probably does something like that. If we follow the logic of it being a magical modification to your eye's health, then that would mean, obviously, supporting for the gold is good healing magic stuff theory. However, if it's just golden carrots are carrots but better, and that's why they give you better night vision, because carrots supposedly did that in the real world. Obviously, eating healthy in general helps improve eye health, because it's overall health that counts more. It's more of a myth that eye health is improved by carrots, which is honestly really surprising, but, you know, I guess it makes sense knowing the government that somehow managed to spread that kind of propaganda. I don't need to talk too much about the government. That one was spread during wartime to get people to eat more carrots. I don't remember why, I just know that it was. Carrots improve your eye health through the simple fact of it being healthy for you. So, they were technically correct. Just not in the way that you want to be technically correct. Alright. Back here we go. Right, spider eye, and its unique connotations with inversion. So, it seems that spider eyes, or the kind that you encounter throughout Minecraft, are really frickin' weird. Because they give the poison debuff, which is obviously not great under normal circumstances. Really any circumstances, poison doesn't seem to be too useful. Except for, I guess, getting wither roses, but that's not a good thing for anybody but your player. Right, so Spider eyes, when fermented, invert the effects of most potions, turning stuff like nothing into something. Obviously not an inversion, but that's just referring to whatchamacallit, the one where they weakness potions, that one. When a weakness potion is made, it requires just a fermented spider eye, meaning that it has some kind of relation to that. Not sure what, but it's related. And I want to know how, but I don't know if I'll ever discover so. Okay, we'll throw homing on this. Well, I think about things. We could do homing plasma if we felt like it. Probably shouldn't, but we can. Okay. Let's see here. What was I saying? Right, so... What? Oh yeah, spider eye is inverting things. You need a fermented spider eye to make a lot of the potions in the game, actually. With, surprisingly, not water breathing. Actually, no, that's not surprising. That one makes the most sense. Water breathing being a fish. Since you've used skills or something. Anyway, you need fermented spider eyes to make a couple of potions, like invisibility, which automatically it inverts the effect of the normal potion, which is, well, seeing good. So if the normal effect is to invert it so that it affects others rather than the player, and also the effect itself is inverted, you'd think it would give the blindness debuff, but somehow not. It doesn't do that. It might make sense, but it seems like it does the absolute opposite, making you harder to see, not it harder to see for you. Which, I guess both of which are technically opposites to the original magic. I don't know. Depends on how you describe those. Whatever the case may be, it inverts a couple types of potion. How do you make a blindness potion, anyway? This is actually the one that I don't remember. Can you even make a potion of blindness, or is that a debuff applied by an enemy? Well, speaking of debuffs applied by enemies... Oh, no, right. Instant health can be inverted into instant damage, which is yet another obvious major inversion that supports the theory of spider eyes being an opposite, or causing an opposite effect inside of magic potions and other things like that. Which, you know, sort of works. Makes good sense to me. Somebody disprove it if they can. Or more likely when they can. Because it shouldn't be too difficult to disprove a theory with very little evidence. Oh. I will talk more about this stuff at a later date, because I do want to look into a Minecraft theory overall. As of right now, I have some evidence for these theories, not a massive amount, but I want to talk about it because it's an interesting thought. Obviously, I want to talk more specifically about souls and the overall magic system in Minecraft, because I like magic. I don't know if you couldn't tell by the 400 plus episodes of Noita I have done. Magic is cool, and I like looking into the systems that other games have, and stories and worlds, stuff like that. So, hopefully I'll have the Galavala video out before that. I'm really, really bad at reading from a script, so there's a very significant chance that I complete the Kalevala one first, just because it takes me a significant amount of time to focus on it and get that done. We'll see. Hopefully. I just don't know, man. It'll happen eventually. Just be patient, I guess. I am only one person, and I have more than one thing to do, unfortunately. Well then. I'll talk more about spawners and stuff later, since those have lore implications. If I'm thinking correctly. Well, most importantly, I should talk about the YouTube things. Well, actually, that isn't the most important part. That's the least important part. Don't know why I mention it now. Anyhow, do those. They're helpful for the channel, blah, blah, blah. If you want to see the Minecraft theory video, and eventually maybe the Kalevala when that comes out, subscribe, I guess? I don't know, hit the bell thingy? Is that the word they use now? Anyway, most importantly, have a nice day. Bye!